Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rapali Shah, a blockchain developer and an instructor at Newton School. So today's topic for this video is that we will be going through few of these listed technologies that are related to blockchain and that might confuse you in the beginning. So I just wanted to make these terms clear, and let's have a look on them more deeply. So this particular thing is basically Newton's launchpad, and Newton is basically a tech company that helps you to become a web developer and land a job from 5 lakhs to 40 lakhs. And the best part is that once you get the placement, then only you have to pay the fee. So in beginning, when you just take a course, you just have to learn, and then after a placement you would be paying for your courses. So yeah, please do check out the link in the description, and let's get started with our today's agenda. So first and the most important term is web3. Now many people have made web3 a little bit complex stuff because like it's a new thing in the market. Like you can't say that it's a new thing in the market, but it gained popularity right now. Like it was way back 5 to 6 years way back also these things were present, but people were not so much aware of them. And yeah, I guess because of meta verse, we are getting these terms in public domain very well. So let's have a look on these things. So first and for the most important term is web3. Now web3 particularly means a web that could allow you to like not only read and write but own your data. Now in web 2, like what we are using day to day in our life, what happens that there is an organization that is controlling your all of your data that's on the internet. So suppose let's take an example of YouTube. If you upload a video on a YouTube, it could be taken down by that authority if they don't find it appropriate according to their rules and regulations. So web3 actually provides you a path, a gateway, internet where you will be the owner of your data. And it's like once you have something on the web3, it can't be deleted permanently. It can be hidden, it can have some things that won't be displayed, but it can't be deleted. So web3 particularly uses web blockchain to give you these types of technologies. And in future videos of mine, we will be like learning how you can develop applications which just follows web3 norms and regulations. Like web3 have their own structure, so we are right now learning how to develop applications that could be like the part of web3. So this was all about web3 for now, and with time when we will be start developing some cool applications and with the help of React and blockchain, then you will be getting more use cases of these web3 stuff. Now since we have completed our first term, let's go to the MetaMask. Now MetaMask is basically a wallet. Now you can consider it as like your hard wallet also, like the purse you carry. So in that you can store some sort of money and some sort of like those postcard tickets. So same way, MetaMask is a wallet which can store stuff, which can store stuff for you. And these stuff should follow some set of rules. Like MetaMask can't store everything, but it can store anything that follows a particular set of rules which it has defined. So same way, we can right now store the native currency of a blockchain. especially the Ethereum blockchain native currency, which is Ether, and for Polygon we can store like Matic. So the blockchain decides that what would be the native currency of that particular blockchain, and that could be stored into the MetaMask. So this was one thing that we can store on MetaMask. Same way we can store ERC20 tokens. Now ERC20 might be a new term for you, but it's basically like the tokens that you have created, that decentralized exchanges has created. So those type of tokens can also be stored on the MetaMask, because MetaMask allow the ERC20 rules to be stored. Now we have ERC 721 tokens, which are also popularly known as NFTs, non fungible token, with the help of MetaMask. So yeah, these were the set of rules. Like these three are main things that you can store on MetaMask. Now MetaMask, let's just have a look on the MetaMask interface, and you can have this extension on any browser. I'm using Chrome right now, so you just have to download this extension, and you can see that we have so many chains over here, and this is your account, and this is basically, let's move to the Rinkeby network. Yeah, so this is basically the native currency of Rinkeby network, which is ethers. And then we have some sort of assets too, so we can have a look on that thing also. So this is the token that we have stored, like this is the ERC token that I have just created, and we just have it over here. So that was a bit about like wallet sort of thing, and this is basically the mainnet, Ethereum mainnet. So we have covered Web3, we have covered MetaMask. Now let's see what is Infura. So before moving to Infura, let's have a look on this JSON RPC, and then we can like more will be able to understand Infura more. So JSON RPC is basically a protocol that would help you to exchange data from client to server and servers to client. Now here the server are the blockchain nodes with whom you want to just interact. So if you want to make changes in a blockchain, you need to be the part of that blockchain, and for that you need to create some sort of nodes. So one way is that you create your own node, a local node, and then you just have all the stuff, all the blockchain ledger on your particular system, and then you just devote everything for that particular thing. But Infura has provided you some sort of nodes, and it has provided you a very good to go node that you can use to have an interaction with the blockchain stuff, and so that you don't have to create your own node. And one more thing is there, and please have a like note of this, that MetaMask don't need Infura to talk to any blockchain, because it uses its internal node. Like internally MetaMask is also using Infura, so you actually don't need then Infura node to have a communication with the blockchain with the help of MetaMask. But if you are using any other wallet like Wallet Connect or like Coinbase, then you might be using Infura, or there are some more types of no like things that provide applications that provide you a built-in node. So yeah, that was the use case of Infura, and we just saw the RPC, JSON RPC also. Now let's move on to the IPFS. Now what is IPFS? So we have seen that okay, the web is like Web3 is same as Web2. It's just that you own your data. So IPFS helps you to provide a decentralized file storage system. Now, this decentralized file storage system would allow you to store your big files on a decentralized network so that you can save some amount of money, because if you would be trying to store everything on Ethereum, it would cost you a lot of gas and it will also cost you a lot of money. So to like have your money like to just minimize the cost, we use IPFS because it is more feasible, and it actually right now you can store stuff on IPFS with the help of Infura only. So yeah, there is that Infura provide you a node for IPFS also. So yeah, it's an decentralized file storage, and you could just store your big videos and photos and or any text also on IPFS. So if I give you an example for IPFS, then you can consider like we have a YouTube where a creator would come and push their videos. Okay, so that might be stored on the YouTube servers. Same way, there is an application which is known as d.tube, which is basically decentralized YouTube, and there, if you like just want to upload a video, then it will take your video and put it on IPFS file storage, because if they would be like putting your videos on Ethereum na, it would cost you and the company a lot of money. So they have this system that they will take your videos and put it on your file storage, like IPFS, decentralized file storage. So yeah, I guess you get the point that which type of files we generally store on IPFS, and what would be like benefits of using IPFS rather than using a like the native blockchain like Ethereum and Solana, any other blockchains. So at the end we would be like having a little bit of description about Morales, but truly speaking, I have never used Morales, but yeah, I have seen like it's also booming, and it's like a necessary thing now, because it makes your management of things very easy. It provides you a decentralized database where you could actually store the user details, and then you can have authentication based on it. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe the channel and turn on the notification by clicking on the bell icon to get the updates of our upcoming videos. Thank you, guys.